I've got the art for Bitterbloom Bearer sitting on my desk, and it's going to go up on my wall as soon as I buy a frame for it. So let's just say I'm excited for this league. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today Titania has asked me to play with Faeries. Now, the original donation had two stipulations. Number one, we need an entire playset of Bitterbloom Bearer, and number two, we need, oh my gosh, we have an anime waifu apparently. And number two, we need Spell Stutter Sprite as a playset as well. So let's go ahead and start here. Bitterblossom is not a card that really sees legacy play anymore, and the closest thing that we have to that in current legacy is Eumidian Hatchery, which is on a land and is relatively low cost. The problem with Bitterbloom Bearer is that it is a 1 toughness creature in a format where Orcish Bowmasters is one of the most played cards in the format. I expect this card on average to be worse than a Bitterblossom. But when it's good, it is probably going to be absolutely devastating, and hopefully we will see a little bit of that today. As a whole, I would just say that this entire deck is bad against Orcish Bowmasters, and I am trying to keep this as a legit Faerie deck in game 1. So I think this deck is just greatly improved if you play fewer Faeries and you just, shove Tamiyo in here and shove Orcish Bowmasters in here. But at that point, why are you not just playing regular Dimir tempo? So we're going to try to do something different. And in doing something different, I'm going to play some cards that are legitimately good cards. Like, they pass the bar for legacy playability, but the metagame has kind of shifted around things like Orcish Bowmasters, meaning that X1 creatures just aren't going to get the job done. Now, I do have some ability to grow these creatures outside of range of just getting pinged by Orcish Bowmasters, and I had a lot of trouble squeezing enough Faeries into the deck list, and notably not in this deck is Thoughtseize, which is a fantastic card. But I was really having trouble getting enough Faeries to support Spell Stutter Sprite while also keeping enough interaction. So I have 10 free spells here, which is pretty darn good. And I want to have a lot of free spells in particular because I'm doing some cool things with card advantage. So this is at its base a 1 mana 1/1, but at 3 mana, I can remove a counter from this creature, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker this turn, draw a card. So in the hypothetical world where we have 3 or 4 1/1s attacking, which I think will be somewhat common, we could, in the mid game, pay 3 mana and get 3 or 4 cards off of this activation. I don't think on average that this card is going to be better than Tamiyo. Tamiyo is just absurd, wins games on its own, is crazy with Brainstorm, rebuys the same removal spell or discard spell again and again and again, yada yada yada. You get the idea. If you're watching my videos by now, you probably know Tamiyo is good. That's not a secret. But this is a pretty neat effect, and I do want to try this out. Again, the deck is probably better if you just go 4 Tamiyo in these slots, get rid of 4 Faeries for 4 Orcish Bowmasters, 2 Scion of Unas for 2 Kaitos or something, and move on with your life. But hopefully we learn some things today and that some of this is pretty good. As far as the sideboard goes, I am going to stick to the theme of trying to play free spells as frequently as I can. But I am going to cede to 1 non-Faerie card. I'm going to play a couple of Barrogoyfs. I want to play a bunch of Snuff Outs, and Bitterbloom Bearers also go against my life total, so I felt like I needed some lifelink in the 75, and that seemed like the easiest way to do it. One final note here. It is rather unusual for a Dimir deck to need black-black on turn 2. Dalthy Voidwalker is about the only thing that requires that, and that's not frequently played as a 4 of. So my mana requirements are a little stricter than normal. So you'll notice that I'm only playing 2 Wastelands here, and I've added an extra Undercity Sewers and Watery Grave, we're just going to err on the side of having just a tiny bit more black mana in the deck. Even though there aren't that many black cards, the black requirement on 2 is kind of a big deal. So we will have a ton of tricks at instant speed that we can do, and let's see how this feels. As a final note, one of the things that Titania wanted to see was Mistbind Click, because there's some rather ridiculous Mistbind Click tricks that you can do. So when it enters, you are supposed to champion another Faerie, which is essentially shove it under this card, and if this card leaves play, you get the other creature back. And so you can do these really cool Mistbind Click loops where you stuck something like a sprite under there, you Mistbind Click, the sprite comes back, and then you get to counter a spell. But given how much trouble I have getting the numbers to work in this deck, I could not justify the 4-drop. And I only ended up with 2 Scion of Unas despite wanting an entire playset of those because of like how good they are with Bitterbloom Bearer in terms of increasing your clock. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into some matches here, folks. If you find that you need any fairies, please consider checking out my sponsor, TOAmagic.com, and grabbing the cards from them. Use my promo code ThrabenU, save yourself a little bit on the order, and let them know that they should continue to support my content. Plus, you always get free shipping and great customer service, so what's not to like? Everybody wins. Let's battle. Phil from the future here. My recommended round in this video is round 3. If you only have time to watch 1, that's the round. Flitterwing Nuisance does some just insane things in that round, and you won't want to miss it. Enjoy the show. Whoa, hold up. What is this? This card is in your opening hand. You may begin with it on the battlefield. When you tap a creature for mana, add an additional mana. Okay, so we are mana dorking it up over there, which probably means this Fatal Push is good. I think I'm just gonna Fatal Push in the first turn cycle. Like, certainly my opponent plays a mana dork on 1, right? I'd like to get this into play ASAP. You get that. I would prefer not to daze until I have played this 2-drop. Yeah, actual factual Llanowar Elves. Yeah, that can resolve. Then I'll grab Underground Sea, push that creature, move on with my life. Okay, now I don't have to take damage from Watery Grave. I'll just go ahead and pass the turn. I will probably go ahead and just daze that. I will float a black and daze. The Gaia's Cradle, not doing much good here. There is a Bitterblossom Bearer now. I can get my aggression started and then use Ponder to find another counterspell, piece of disruption, whatever. Oh, nice. I imagine that goes after the Bayou as the initial mana source here. See if I change my mind after pondering. Oh, shit. That's pretty good. Bottom, yeah. Wasteland, the initial mana source. And now the Bitterbloom Bearer gets to just deal increasing amounts of damage. Okay. That is no play from my opponent. I will make a new friend. Down to 16. I'm fine showing the Wasteland. I did draw both Wastelands. In for 2. 17. This is a pretty dominant game on my end, but notably, my opponent is in the sauce when we are too. My sauce was just more delicious. GG's. So I imagine that Snuff Out is great here. I imagine that Shoulder's Edict is fine. A little expensive. And I basically didn't see much of my opponent's deck. So let's just kind of imagine here. If you are elf balling, what is your win condition? Natural Order makes sense. Big mana Allosaurus Shepherd makes sense too. There's black in there too. Probably a Green Sun package. Probably includes Grist. Probably includes Badger Mole Cub. Maybe includes Bowmasters. I maybe don't do this, imagining that my opponent is playing a lot of creatures and that they may have some stuff that shuts off counterspells anyway. Faerie Mastermind is probably not ideal here either. That gives me +3 removal spells already. I can think about these. These might be slow. My opponent be playing Glimpse of Nature? I think I'm going to try this game like this. And Barrowglyph and Force of Negations are things that I might end up finessing my numbers with a little bit. This is fine. The play-draw difference here is going to be pretty big. So I think this is a game where I probably let my opponent's mana resolve and intend on Force of Willing and Dazing payoff cards. Alright, no Lightline this time. Opponent fetches. And surprise, surprise. It's an elf, and again, I think we're going after payoff cards. Basic Swamp is kind of whatever. I think I will go ahead and get an Underground Sea here. I think I just always need to be respecting the ability to cast the Bitterbloom Bearer. Let's get our Nuisance into play. An opponent says they're a fan of the content. Hello, you're in a video. And your deck is cool. Well, presumably your deck is cool. Show me your sweet payoff card, but do so without killing me. This is a very specific request. That could shut off my counter spells. I think that has to get dazed. It could get forced. Then I get to sprite a card. Yeah, that's a little weird. My opponent says this deck is a fever dream. We've all been there, friend. Don't worry. All right, there was a Verdant Catacombs. I don't love that. I got cute with trying to curve out. I wanted to do Sprite into activate this draw 2. I think I have to force that. I don't have a cantrip here or anything to help smooth my hands out. I think I got super punished for trying to do cool things with my deck. I was anticipating no land drop after casting Green Sun dazably. Never didn't have it. Greatest player of all time. Then my opponent will cast a 3-drop and Sprite won't counter it and I'll be sad. 17. Oh no. No! Fucking Questing Beast. Alright. That is resolving. Unfortunate. A lot of keywords here. Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Combat damage can't be prevented. And kills planeswalkers. No reach, though. So I think I just go ahead and play this as another Faerie with the intention of doing a draw 2 with my mana this turn. Oh, shit. Well, plan has changed. I will go ahead and fetch, surveil. Rainstorm is fine. It's not what I want after tapping out, but I think I just take that. So get out of their Questing Beast. In for 2. 15. Done a decent amount of self-damage here, which I think is going to be pretty typical for my deck. Oh, second Cradle. All right. Now that one can just get haste right now. Hate that. So I get smacked for 6. Go to 6. With that much pressure on board, I don't know that I can just do the draw effect here. I think I need to hit a new removal spell. A bunch of my removal spells are also snuff outs. That's a snuff out. All right. All right. I think I'm actually going to wait to do this until my opponent's turn to disincentivize these from attacking. Like, if my opponent thinks they're just kind of safe against this, maybe they only attack with it. The blowout here is if my opponent, like, randomly has a Veil of Summer effect that counters this, I just die. Oh, no. Stop it. Stop it. No. No. What the fuck is this? Trample, Ward 4, and Haste. Okay. Okay. GG. Fucking sweet. I might need these. I think I'm going to turn the Scion of Unas into Barrowglyphs. And I now know that when I can Force of Will things that set up in the early game, I probably need to, because my opponent's late game is just totally uncounterable nonsense. Well, there's a very good chance that this wrecks my opponent's ability to play Magic in the early game. I think I'm going to keep this. I think this Brainstorm can betray me. I would really like to find a Bitterblossom Bearer and start trying to spiral the game that way. My opponent is on their full 7 cards. Land drop? Can't daze that. Might just go ahead and Force of Will that. That probably represents a giant uncounterable green creature that I get to counter instead of not counter. Alright, opponent fetches. Now let's brainstorm. This will help me dictate whether or not I daze here. Sprite is cool. Bitterblossom Bearer is exactly what I want to do. Let's go like bam bam. That can resolve. And I will just snuff it out. Paying the 4 life. Then I drop Underground Sea. Both of these have flash, so I have that flexibility. My opponent plays a 1-drop, I sprite it. If they don't, I Bitterbloom Bearer, and then daze. And once Bitterbloom Bearer is in play, the sprite gets better and better. So let's just counter that. Goodbye, elves. Second creature. Goodbye, elves. This is Faeries doing its thing, right? Force of Will, snuff out, daze, 3 free spells already. Hopefully we strand some stuff in my opponent's hand. Their 4 drops will easily be castable, but some of the stuff like Tyrannix Rex, not so much. Alright, Dryad Arbor you get. Elvish Mystic you get. I can take one of those out with my Fatal Push. And I will to make my days better. I'll pick the Mystic. I don't think it matters in this deck in particular. 16. I'm still definitely scared that I can lose, like, despite the really good interaction that I've done thus far. My opponent's deck just has so many uncounterable creatures. Oh, this could be Endurance. I can daze that. That would be fine. So lose 1. 11. Send in. It is Endurance, which I will daze. So, does my opponent hit land drop into Ceratops? Because that would be bad. Badger Mole Cub, sure. So Bayou is a friend. All right. Badger Mole Cub represents so much mana. Let's draw well, shall we? Bloodstained Mire. I would not consider that drawing well. Opponent has 1 card remaining. We'll draw 1 card per turn. Let's see if it's a banger. 9. The opponent has 2, 4, 6, 7 mana. Shit. Okay. Help. Take 10. Good God. I'm at 2. I might die to the little idiots. I might die to my own Bitterblossom Bearer. Fuck, I can't fetch. I just have to, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Heart of the Cards here. That is an Underground Sea. So I can attack for 5, put my opponent to 4. I can't trade successfully with this. I will show myself the door. My opponent's pile of uncounterable green creatures wins the day here. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. Alrighty, I think my hand is decisively medium. The Wasteland doesn't cast Fatal Push. I've got a couple of Ponders. I've got a Daze. I've got some stuff that gets me out of the early game. I'd like to find a black land and another Faerie to pair with Scion of Una. So I think when I am pondering, land drop is the biggest thing that I'm looking for here, and I'm going to get that. So then the next question becomes, how do I stack it? Like, do I always want 2 lands? I think I always want 2 lands. I think I need black. We will send Brazen Borrower to the bottom there. Chromux? I think I'm going to let that happen and try to catch something else with the days. It is a Spirit Guide. Would not have gotten the Chromux with the days. There's City. There's another Chromux. But we want to see a 4-drop. Oh, it's Rite of Flame. Oh, my days is perhaps not countering whatever this is going to be. Oh, this is going to be an Echo from Graveyard. Done around a days. Yep. Now I don't understand what the holdup is. I think the Runehorn Hellkite is 6 mana to activate, so I don't think that's on the table. So, like, this card is going to graveyard. I can't see it being anything other than Echo. Yeah. So I don't want to daze. I will just end up losing my land here. So I will take the redraw. Redraw is pretty good for me, honestly. I get to Force of Will one thing. Okay. I'm getting another turn, which is cool. Notably, the basic island that I had on turn 1 does not cast Bitterbloom Bearer. I think I will just Wasteland. This leaves open a Brainstorm for if one Force of Will is not enough. I wonder what... what? What? Wild. Yes. Okay. That's some sauce right there. That's fine. These construct tokens are going to be a pain. I can get one bonus card. So this is going back into the deck, and then I will just redraw the other card. I kind of want to ponder and look for the last Wasteland because that Urza Saga is so strong. Also, just finding another Force of Will or a spot removal spell is also just perfectly fine. I think I just say no to that. Brainstorm is the best card there. I could Brainstorm and then fetch. Well, I can fetch and then Brainstorm, rather. Alright. I will just accept that. Having this threatened is spooky. Very hard for me to counter things right now. Yep. Okay, so the Echo is just happening. I will Force of Will it. Then end step, I will fetch. I think I'm going to go for this immediately. Days, probably not great. Too much mana over there. So 1 and 2. So land drop, play 1 drop. I think I'm just very close to dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this is bad. If my opponent has Lava Spur Boots, I am definitely spooked here. So there's another one. In case Pithing Needle is here, I think I am going to preemptively fetch an Underground Sea. It's an LED. Okay, I am only going to get hit by this once. I think I will take the first hit from this. And Bitterbloom Bearer can, in theory, make me some chump blockers for these. Okay, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, loot. Sure. I'm going to go with the Bearer. An opponent is just going to kill it, which is reasonable. Force of Will's an okay pickup. My position is quite bad. I could swing for the fences, attack, activate the ability, attempt to draw Snuff Out. Snuff Out costs me 4 life. I reduce the number of artifacts by 1. That doesn't feel like it does it. Yeah, I am unhappy with my current situation. I think I am going to block both of these, keep my life total high, and then hope to brainstorm into something that clears these. Like clearing both of these in the same turn with double Fatal Push or Fatal Push Snuff Out would be cool. If I take a hit from one of these, Snuff Out is not live. God damn it. Things are supposed to go away when they're in exile. Stop fucking popping out. So that can come back. There's a white mana for pull, just actually off the lands. Oh no. Alright, well that can't be countered. I knew this card was going to be in the 75. I don't know why else you would be playing a red storm deck right now. Alright, that is not what I need. We're dead here. And my decision to put a lot of counterspells in this deck, because they have good synergy with the Faeries, is going to be super punished in this matchup, where my opponent has presumably 4 main deck Hexing Squelchers. Feels like Null Rod is solid. I probably want Snuff Outs or Answering Squelcher at the cost of 6 of my life. Oh, this feels slow for this matchup. There's going to be like real tension here between wanting more counter spells for the combo stuff and just simply not being able to cut removal spells to play them. I think I still need to trim some of this black stuff. Maybe we do something like this. I'm concerned that I don't have enough card advantage for all of these pitch things that I'm going to be doing. Like, this is my way to get card advantage, but like the synergy with Bitterbloom Bearer is what makes it do its thing. Maybe I go down a generic card and do something like this. This boarding configuration doesn't get Consign in, which can do some stuff versus LEDs while also doing some stuff versus Saga. Having to have the creature type synergies is rough for my boarding versus having standalone cards like Tamiyo and Barrowgoyf, Bowmasters. I don't think this hand does anything. Like, it has 3 counter spells, but it really only has 1 counter spell. I'm going to try to find something that puts a threat into play and then backs it up with counter magic. Darn you, Wasteland. You are neither a swamp nor an island. Do I keep it anyway? Like, is Null Rod a damning enough card that I keep it and hope that it works? No, but I would be willing to do that on 5 cards. 5-card hand is not great. At this point, I'm just going to keep. Probably you go back. Daze one thing, snuff out Squelcher, or ignore Squelcher, keep a hard counter. I can just also junk a land and not make that decision. That is, I suppose, fine as well. I think I say no to Force of Will. I think I just need to find something to clock my opponent. Otherwise, they will just eventually kill me with Echo. Hate that. Yep. An opponent passes. Opponent doesn't pass. They're a second main phase hipster. Alright, they did pass. I will pass the turn right back. I've got a Faerie Mastermind. That's the start of a clock. That's something. I have a Snuff Out to help with Urza Saga tokens. That's something. But this is overall unexciting. Grab another Underground Sea and deploy a Faerie. Another land drop is kind of whatever, but it does make Force of Negation hard castable. So that's not nothing. 18, 16. I will almost certainly end up snuffing out this construct token. I don't suspect that I need to wait, or rather that I need to do it immediately. Alright, Spell Bomb is solid. Wow. Relatively surprised the mana base supports that. Down to 11. Does save me life. Can't be countered. Now both cards in my hand don't do anything. And my Faerie is not exactly amazing. And there's now Ward on these. And that was an island that I can't do much with. I'm in for 2. Opponent to 9. I can maybe just activate the 4 mana ability of this and get an extra card. Yes. Oh, we're doing both of them. You've got it. Opponent could have gone for haste there. Wild. So now my opponent has 2 different things. Alright. Hate this. Yeah, my counter all the things deck. Not doing great against the now what I assume is 8 of these deck. Or pretty close to it. I guess my opponent is at 7 life. Like with another tempo threat. Maybe I could have done something here. I think this is the point where I'm going to go ahead and draw with Faerie Mastermind. My opponent should ping with Pyrite Spell Bomb here, so I don't get the extra card. Yep. But this does shrink this by 1. Yeah, a daze is not what I need here. Yeah, I'm just going to die to this stuff. Blah. I suspect my opponent is going to have a good day if they play against decks that look like mine. GG's. Alright, my opening hand is pretty mediocre here. I'm gonna just start on a Surveil land and look for any piece of action. I think I just say no to that. I think I'm looking for more creatures right now, like creatures and cantrips. I'm hoping not to be facing combo here. I don't want to pitch my only creature here. Otawara into Ponder. Otawara and Ponder at the same time is a little weird. Could be a slow control deck, could be maybe a flex slot in a combo deck that expects the game to go long, maybe something like Show and Tell. That's fine. I think I'm going to leave open Sprite for a cantrip. And if I don't need to cantrip, I will probably grab my other Undercity Sewers here. Dirtily Grixis Control. Basic Swamp. Yeah, I'll just say no to a Thoughtseize. That's fine. Grab an Underground Sea and just get my sprite value. Opponent brainstorms in response. Vesuvan Drifter. Okay, it is show and tell type nonsense. I should hover over this card for a minute longer. So, at the beginning of each combat, you may reveal a top card of your library. If you reveal a creature card this way, it becomes a copy of this, except it has flying. So you just throw a Grizzlebrand or an Emrakul or an Archon on top of your library, and then you get in with this ability. So if I Force of Will, I'm just protecting Fatal Push. I think I go ahead and let this resolve, and I will still end up with a card of value. Okay, opponent does take the push. So they are into the Vesuvan Drifter nonsense. Well, I found another one anyway. Very nice. Keen Duelist. Yes. I will just Fatal Push that. Get out of here. And then I will Surveil. Looking for a flash creature, preferably. Yeah, that's fine. It's not my ideal creature, but I'll take it. This gives me a Sprite for a cantrip and a Force of Will for one of the creatures. Yeah. Get in there, fairy friend. Excellent work, waifu fairy. Okay, now I can use one of these ponders. Yes. Bam, bam, bam. No shuffle. All right, we actually might play like a decent Faeries game here where I just make these sprites better and better over time. 15. Yeah, so now this gets to counter Keen Duelist, and I get to keep my Force of Will. Opponent forces pitching Limb Duel's Vault. I will Force of Will right back. Counter Keen Duelist. Now I know my next card is a Brainstorm. I might just hold that. There's timelines where I hit the Fairy Lord this turn and I can just swing in for more damage. I don't think that's what this game is about. Now there's like another question of like, does my opponent have Orcish Bowmasters in this pile? I think I'm okay just continuing to attack for 2, and we Brainstorm at a point where it is now safe from Bowmasters. Down to 10. Alright. So now let's find something that answers that. No. No, I did not. Force Will doesn't do it with this being a black card. Alright. Keen Duelist is in play. This is life loss. I could leave... Shit, did I leave the Force of Will on top of my library? I might not want to tempt fate like that anyway. Like, I think the shuffle is good. I am now out of Surveil lands. I'll just take the Watery Grave out of my deck and make it so that I don't lose life for that later. Lose my 1 here. Well, this is going to be exciting. Opponent at 7. Keen Duelist trigger. 7 and 15. 14 and 6. Okay, cool. So now I have a removal spell for this. There's a 3rd land drop, opponent to 5. I think I just let that hit me. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. Also, the life loss that they randomly take from my stuff might also make them take lethal. Okay. At the beginning of your end step, 2 players each reveal the top card of their library. They each lose life equal to the mana value of the card revealed by the other player. Okay. Understood. End of turn trigger. 5 and 12. 3. Spellsetter Sprite as well. Cool. Yeah. Whew. Alright, opponent's deck is cool. GG's. I have probably seen the range of what their deck does. I don't know if there's room for show and tell as well. It feels like Drifter, Keen Duelist, Duskmourn's Claim is the package. I'm interested in this Edict. The consigns buy some time. I don't know that they're worth the slot, but they buy some time. It feels like a lot of this comes down to whether or not my opponent has a sideboard pivot plan of like board in a pile of Bowmasters. Snuff Out's weird, it misses Keen Duelist, but it hits Vesuvan Shapeshifter. I think I am lowering my curve ever so slightly. This picks up 2 removal spells. I'm not sure on these last couple of slots. I don't love this like world that I have seen in the last couple of matchups where I am simultaneously having to respect the stack and these creatures. Because if this is just normal show and tell, and I go 4 Fatal Push out a whole bunch of copies of Force of Negation in, my sideboarding feels very easy and good. And when I can't do that, life's a lot harder. Basic Swamp is not going to make this hand keepable. Second one is fine. Probably keep this and just pitch 1 land. Opponent has a fetch land. Oh, just sorcery speed surveil. I wonder if they think I have Stifle. Maybe I should be playing Stifle. Love that. Let's get the Nuisance into play. All right. And this is the Faerie so that this can counter things like Keen Duelist. Brainstorm is fine. There's a fetch land to clear. Basic land, Lotus Petal, Thoughtseize, I guess just happens. Opponent takes my Force of Will, and they know the Sprite is coming. Well, now I've just got something good that I can do with my mana if I don't want to do Sprite. So I think I will represent Sprite. Maybe not do it. The 3-mana line of activating this as a draw 2 is totally fine. Alright, that's Duskmourn's Claim. That doesn't get countered by Sprite right now. So I will go ahead and Brainstorm. Uh-oh. Well, I could just bounce it out of play. But I will spin the wheels again. And if I miss on the Brainstorm, I can put something expensive on top of Library. Yeah. Ooh, I did miss. I will put back a land I want to fetch away. And my most expensive card. Life totals are 14 and 9. And we see what happens. This is random for my opponent. I'm currently at 19. I am still at 19. Not so bad. Now, I will go ahead and just fetch, clear those cards. I think I'm going to leave 1 Underground Sea for later. Regular old Brainstorm here. Whoa! I've already played my land drop for turn. Yuck. Unhappy. I think I will just put land on top. Send in for 1. I'll bounce this on my opponent's turn, in all likelihood. Sometimes I don't. I think I want the flexibility to cast all of these spells, rather than a lightning bolt that does not cost me any mana. Alright. Oh, the Surveil lands are dirty. Like, wonder how many of those there are over there. Certainly at least 2, right? Oh god, there is Show and Tell as well. Casting Shaldred's Edict probably is the most important thing to do this turn then. Yes. Put in Delta so I can fetch away those lands. So let's do this right now. Is that true? Yeah, I actually do think that's true. This will shuffle this back into the deck, but it means that if my opponent reveals a Force of Will, they can't use that force to protect it. Okay, yeah. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. Blue-black. Okay, cool. Now, trigger on the stack. I will use my own Surveil land to try to set this up and make this better. Undercity Sewers. That is a guaranteed 1 damage. This is not a card that I super want to draw right now. Actually, is this okay? So cast it, cast Sprite, cast Brazen Borrower. I can counter a 3-drop. Maybe that is fine. It's not what I thought I wanted. Okay. Grizzlebrand. You got it. So, land drop, Flitterwing, sorry. Send in for 1. Opponent has Grizzlebrand. Opponent can't draw 7 with a Grizzlebrand, though. So now I need to petty theft this out of play. My opponent can recast it, but then I can counter it. Uh-oh. Bright doesn't counter Force of Will. Yu-Gi-Oh! Art of the cards. Believe. Life totals are 6 and 9. Thoughtseize Flooded Strand. Is Sprite a 1/1 attacker? I believe Sprite is a 1/1 attacker, and I do a draw 3. Alright. Wait, hold on. I can do a draw 6. I can do a draw 6, dealing 5 points of damage to my opponent. Drawing a billion cards. If I hit my opponent for 5, they can't fetch. They also can't Thoughtseize. Okay, yeah. Fetch. I'm just going to confirm there is an untapped land. Should have one underground sea still. Do. Send it. Remove a counter from this creature. And then remove a counter from this creature. My opponent goes to 1. There's a draw 6. Okay, I picked up 2 different free counter spells there. And I will discard some card. I don't know that I'm messing with a brainstorm. Oh, shit. Wait, hold on. Fuck. 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 Oh, I really hope we don't draw this game because of that. I needed to think for just a quarter of a second longer. Let's see. Grizzlebrand. 8. Needed to counter that. Whoops. That's my bad. Proof of concept for the Flitterwing Nuisance, though. I think I want another Force of Negation or 2 in here. I think that means still trimming a couple of these. I've got cantrips to find creatures. It'll probably work out. Alright, so I am leading the match still, 1-0. Awkward? Maybe fine? Like, this is Schrodinger's fine, where this either lines up really well versus what my opponent is doing, or does nothing. Well, my hand is super redundant. Going for a daze. So now they know about the other days. Brazen Borrower is okay. We'll almost certainly be using a Surveil land immediately. I'm just gonna counter that so I can double dip on a Surveil land at a moment where I have no creatures. Well, that's a spell. Brainstorm's fine, I'll take that. Let's just counter the Brainstorm. Ooh. Oh, Brain Surge as well. Okay. Spicy. There's the fetch land to clear. And my opponent's Undercity Sewers. Saying no to show and tell. Interesting. Maybe they've already got one. I'm going to hope they don't. I will say yes to that. Hopefully I don't die for not holding up Brainstorm for Force of Will. There's land drop 3. That's Duskmourn's claim. I accept that here. My opponent's going to take 5 from my Force of Will. The life total's 14 and 19. Ooh. Omniscience. Sweet art for Omniscience. I don't know that I've seen that art before. Force of Negation as well. That means that if I Brazen Borrower, it should probably happen on my opponent's turn. Alright, I'll pass here. I would really like to cast my Brainstorm and turn these Fatal Pushes into cards that aren't Fatal Pushes. They're just not blue for pitching to the 2 counter spells that I have. Awkward. I think I need to Brazen Borrower here so I don't lose that card. Underground Sea. Eddy Theft that back to hand. Success. Brazen Borrower will kill my opponent in just a couple of hits. And that's probably what I spend my mana on next turn. I will have a pitch counter no matter what I do. Hopefully a 3-1 flyer is just reasonable. Yes. Very afraid of show and tell right now. The Omniscience can also end up on the deck too from the top, so that I just guaranteed have to force Duskmourn's claim or I die. I don't want to keep drawing the black cards here. Yeah, just have to counter that. Oh no. You have a counter spell to back that up because it's so bad for me. That's a show and tell. Okay, so I'm assuming that an Omniscience is now on top of deck and I die. And that just is what it is. A Force of Will on top of my library doesn't kill my opponent, and I don't have anything bigger than Force of Will. So I think I just let this trigger resolve and hope that my opponent did their Brainstorm poorly. It's Omniscience. Rats. GG. Well, we get to play another game versus this sweet deck, so there's that. My opponent's got a lot of clunk, but it's a lot to thread at the same time. So I'm not seeing the Keen Duelists and Vesuvan Drifters. That might mean that I want to go up on Force of Negation and down on some of these Fatal Push type cards. So I'll make that adjustment. The Fatal Pushes and Snuff Outs don't kill some of the creatures that are show and telled in, like Grizzlebrand or potentially Atraxa. Do I just want more creatures? I might need to just respect the fact that they could be brought back in. The Fatal Pushes did not feel great there. Yeah, this is fine. Play draw also just feels very, very big here. So now hopefully I will, Maybe get like 5 points of damage in with this Nuisance while wastelanding my opponent, dazing their stuff. Opponent keeps their card. I will regular land drop this turn. I would love to use Sprite and then wasteland my opponent and just increase my clock. I want the extra creatures in play to activate this ability to refuel. All right, no play from my opponent. Do I want to even surveil? I think I will surveil. Yeah, Force of Will is fine. Wasteland. Take out your sewers. See if we get a good response here. Another surveil land. And I'll send in for 1. 4 counter spells and a Brazen Borrower in hand. I like how this looks. I don't love when my opponent just doesn't play spells, though. I'm going to just cast this and give up some value with it. Again, I've got something that I'm actively working towards. Another Nuisance. I think I'll play that. 15. I think I'll play that. Limdual's Vault. That's an okay daze. I think I just let it go, though. I don't mind my opponent losing a couple of life. Okay, there's the first set of life. This is sort of a tedious card to resolve. It looks like my opponent is going to keep the second set. Ancient Tomb means daze is not particularly good. Cast spells for me to counter, damn it. Alright. Land drop. I think that means that I'm getting in there and then activating this ability and just treating it as a draw 3. That seems good. Move the counter. Brain Surge. Do I care? I'm not sure that I care. Alright, draw 3 cards, opponent at 8. So I've made my land drop. I have 2 pitch counters and 2 dazes. I don't know how relevant the dazes are, but I have them. Underground Sea from my opponent. Yep. You may resolve your Thoughtseize. I will still have a Force of Will backed by 2 dazes. Or a Force of Negation backed by 2 dazes. Opponent takes Brazen Borrower. So if I draw 3 again, my opponent takes 5, goes to 1, can't Ancient Tomb, can't Fetch, can't Force of Will. Seems good. I don't remember if I said this out loud or if I was just thinking this now, but it might just be that like Flitterwing Nuisance with a bunch of things that make more than one body, like Orcish Bowmasters, just ends up being totally viable. Bam. Also, I think I keep saying this thing's name wrong. Flitterwing Nuisance. Okay. This was a sick round. Opponent's deck was cool. GG's. Alright, I wish that I had 2 untapped lands with this hand. I would love to curve this into this, backed by Force of Negation. I don't get to do that unless I draw another land immediately. I think I'm just going to settle for doing this on 2. Faerie Mastermind. I don't know. Jan, are you a blue player? I'm gonna say that is a green player avatar and put this into my graveyard. You know, hard scientific facts. Opponent is on green. Maybe. We can neither confirm nor deny it this time. I think I am going for the non-basic here. Bitterbloom Bearer just really needs me to have the black lands. Green player, green player, green player. ThrabenU conspiracy theory proven true. Ignoble Hierarch. Let's just daze it. Then I can use my mana for Fatal Push in the next turn cycle. Give myself a little bit of time to make the Brainstorm better. And now Scion might get pitched to Force of Negation, if I even do that. I would like to daze that one. That's not happening. I will Fatal Push it. Yes. Push the cub. Well, I hit another daze. That's not the end of the world. Okay. In for 1. 17. Verdant Catacombs. Opponent is passing. Oh, I'm in trouble if this is a Bowmaster, right? Bowmaster around daze. Can't double daze it. If it's Endurance, it's fine. If it's Bowmaster, it's a disaster. In Endurance, it's fine. I'll Brainstorm anyway here. Oh my god, there's no lands anywhere. No lands to be found. 1 and 2. daze that. Get my opponent for 1. Now we can ponder and shuffle away all the black cards that I can't cast. Basic Island does not cast these cards. Yep. Alright. That's rough. Please. I have a family. I have 2 cats. Yes. I'm countering that. I think I'm pitching the 3-drop. Ion. Alright. Maybe we can do something about the mana base. Natural order, please. I can counter that one. Okay, I can counter that. Ugh. I am out here working my little fairy tushy off, trying to stay alive. Fuck. In for 1. 13. Out of counter spells. Out of blue mana. That's fine. That's fine. Dodge to bullet opponent's last card is not great. They're still favored. But if I can hit a blue land, I can maybe change that. I'm only getting hit for 2 a turn. Alright, 2 more is fine. 14. Just pass. You only have land. Yeah, alright, well, I can't cast these cards anyway. I will accept the thing that deals 2 points of damage to you. Opponent goes after the ponder. Well, I got another one. Down to 9. I am bricking hard. My opponent is too, though, to be fair. Or, well, I don't know if they bricked or if I just answered their first 3 threats. Alright. The cub is here. And now at this point, it's going to be useful for my opponent to just kind of go wide and attack me with multiple creatures. Alright, I need to look at my deck list here. What is my conceptual plan? My creatures are small, they don't block well. I can get a Bitterbloom Bearer and go wide. I can just hit, push, and snuff out and such. I think I'm going to ponder and attempt to get something that trades. So there's the Bearer, if I want it for next turn. Maybe that's reasonable? Maybe I play Faerie Master. How my opponent attacks matters a lot. They could just, like, attack in for 3. Or if they attack in with a bunch of bodies and Faerie Mastermind trades. Maybe that's the plan. I think I'm going to pass here. I also just think my opponent ripping a Natural Order or Green Sun style card just beats me here. That's spooky. I also can't really play a Toxic Deluge in a deck with this many X1 creatures. Fuck, it is just the Badger Mole Cub attack. In which case, the Faerie Mastermind that is on top of the library is now not great. Got. So if that attack continues, I could Brainstorm into Bitterbloom Bearer, take 4, go to 4. If I'm not playing Flitterwing Nuisance, I don't have to make any decisions now. I'm going to play this and hope that they pivot into attacking with a bunch of creatures. I don't know that that happens, but that might be the easiest way for me to win. Oh, it's big. Oh, are you just going to fucking cast an Atraxa? Yeah. Badger Mole Cub, folks. Alright, Counterspell. No. I am going to concede to that. I'm going to concede to that, but I want to see what the cards are. That's all stuff that I expected. Sylvan's Safekeeper is something that I should keep in mind as a tutor target. Alright, we fought the good fight. We didn't come out ahead. GG's. So I want bonus removal spells for sure. And this is yet another match where I want to be boarding in a bunch of removal for the onboard creatures, but I also have to respect Green Suns and Natural Orders that can just kill me. This is a lot of tension. It also feels like my opponent has a bunch of blockers for Barrogoyf. I kind of want these to just slam the door on the game after countering and removing a few things. Endurance also just a beating. My stuff is not safe. I think I'm going to bring in the Barrogoyfs. The Force of Will count is questionable. Maybe if I bring those in, I need to do at least one more blue card. Let's keep one of these as a way to ramp up the fairy base damage. It might be that boarding out a couple fairies means that those should just go. Oh, that's an awkward land. Like this on turn 1, this on turn 2 is incredible. This on turn 2, this on turn 3 is way worse. I think I'm gonna mulligan. This is not great either. I am unhappy with this. I don't know that I get to mulligan much deeper than this, though. I think I'm just going to throw down a tapped land. What else could Scion of Una have been? The stuff it would have been is not amazing either. So that's a non-basic land. That doesn't line up well versus Wasteland. That's okay, though. Let's try to course correct. Alright. Put you back. Put you back. Fetch. Underground Sea. And I will go after the mana since this is a Gaia's Cradle deck. I can Brazen Borrower a lot of different threats out of play. Alright. This could be a Bowmaster. This could be a Once Upon a Time. I'm going to play this and leave up Brazen Borrower. And it's just awkward if it is, what's it? Bowmasters. Let's see. Okay, cool. It is just a Surveil land. That resolves. Another land drop, sure. I don't know that I need to bounce that, but it could keep a natural order from being relevant. So I think for that reason alone, I will do this. Just use my mana while I've got it. Now I can potentially give my Faeries Shroud or play this. Maybe Wild Dazing something. 18. Cool, got away with like my opponent not using 2 of their mana. So this would be an Endurance around a Daze, which I dislike. I can trade with Brazen Borrower, or I can ponder and attempt to find an answer to the Endurance that I suspect. I think I'm gonna ponder. If I miss, I can Bitterbloom Bearer. Okay, there's a Force of Will. Yes. I will send in for 4. There's the fetch. It's Talon Gates. Well, that is surely not what I was expecting. Yes. Opponent takes 1. That resolves. There's another land drop. Daze is super dead at this point. It's natural order. Do I need to play around Veil of Summer here? It's like such an incredible blowout if this last card is Veil of Summer. Oh, I don't wanna. I don't wanna. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play around Veil being the last card. Alright. Didn't need to. I just, like, lose so hard if that last card is Veil. So make a friend. Draw a Sprite. Sprite means that I don't funnel mana into Flitwing. Flitterwing? What is this card? Flitterwing. Dryad Arbor. Fiend Artisan. 3, 4, 5, 6. Next turn 1, 2. So X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's big. It's just if this is the bait spell and there's another spell that follows, it's very awkward to move here. I'm going to do it. I can counter a natural order with this Daze. Got him. Okay, works out in my favor. So lose a life. Another Daze. Send on in. Draw 5. Bowmaster. Abrupt Decay. Yeah. That doesn't stop that, though. Yeah. If my opponent wanted to stop that, they needed to do it on their turn. I think I'm now going to ponder and look for a hard counter spell. Yeah. Nope. Yes. Hard counter spell. It doesn't stop the creatures, but it does stop the, like, natural order green sun type stuff. Okay, that was sweet. GG's. I'm going to trade... I kind of want to trade Scion of Una for Bitterblossom Bearer so that I make the extra things to turn Sprite into something that counters natural orders and Fiend Artisans and such as the game goes along. That makes sense to me. Blue count a touch iffy. Oh, that's land heavy at 5 lands. I don't know about that. I'm going to say no to that. This is fine. I'm going to keep this and get rid of this 3rd land drop. We've got a Dryad Arbor, which I will probably just snuff out purely for tempo reasons. I'm looking to do Flitterwing into this, and then a turn or so later, cash in the draw 3. Could be more. Seems good. Okay, cool. No follow-up creature, though. That's great for me. Barrowglyph is fine. 19. This makes me want a third land drop. Alright, opponent is passing. No, they're a second main phase hipster. That resolves. All three of my cards are quite good. Opponent takes the Barrowgoyf. I will surveil. Now I don't need land 3 anymore. Well, if my opponent is afraid of this, I should probably just take it. I want land 3 still, but my opponent, said, of all the things in your hand, the Barrowgoyf is the scariest. So, let's get it again. Alright, well, 14. Let's play Bitterbloom Bearer, and then my opponent can take Barrowgoyf again. They do so very quickly. Cradle with no creatures. I'll lose 1, make a friend. This is fine. How do I feel about this just being a draw 2? Is that enough? I'm going to take a draw 2. New Underground Sea. Let's just do this. Because sometimes this gets me like a critical daze to counter an endurance or something. Yeah, I'll just counter that. Can reuse this land. That's fine. Alright, that's going to give me another chance to make a Faerie. Oh, what a great tempo draw. I'm not going to have anything to pair that with, assuming that I use Brazen Borrower to bounce whatever my opponent plays. If I use Sheoldred's Edict on whatever they play, then this is good. I'm going to put that into my graveyard. I think it's very close. Send in. That is resolving. So if I let this trigger resolve, this taps for 1 more mana, as this will be a creature. I probably just Edict here. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. Oh, they didn't tap the Cradle in response. I guess it still makes the mana afterwards. This is non-land, so I can't bounce the Cradle with it. Lose 1. There's an island. Do this. Go to punchies. Send in. Opponent to 1. See if I regret this card not being Force of Will. Awkward. Because again, I can't Petty Theft this, so I guess I just cast this as a creature. And you can die. Yes, you may absolutely evoke your Endurance first. You have floated some extra mana, and Thoughtseize kills you. Alright, we win that match. GG's, that was really cool. Ye Old Faerie deck is breaking even as of right now. Okay, opening hand just doesn't have enough mana here. I need more than this, because this is only good if I get the follow-up lands. So I think I will mulligan this one. Oh, okay. Does this Unhappy Keep or go to 5? There's just no plan to win here. The plan is surveil it, Bitterbloom Bearer. Alright. Unhappy Keep. Need to hope Wasteland is good. Need to hope that Daze is good. Need to hope that Surveil Land hits. Everything's got to line up well here. LED is getting dazed right the fuck now. I do not need another land. I will immediately daze that. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Okay. That's fine. That's triple red for Faithless Looting. Oh my god. Yeah. Is there therapy? There's a therapy with double Bridge from Below, Faithless Looting still here, double Poxwalkers. Fuck. Let's look at a few more cards in their deck and then concede. Oh, and Anger. Okay, I guess they don't have a mountain though. But they get to Dread Return a 5/5 Ashen Rider while making a zombie army. Alright, I mean you've got it. Alright. Force of Negation is fine. Consign and Spell Bombs are fine. I don't know if I want to go that deep, but it's on the table. Conceptually, I think my plan for winning is keep my opponent from getting things into the graveyard. If my opponent just hard discards on the first turn cycle, that feels kind of bad for me. If I cut all of my removal, this is what I'm working with. I would still need to cut 3 cards to get all of these in here, which would probably be like Scion, Brazen Borrower, or keep 1 Scion. Let's try this. One argument for keeping Fatal Push is just to Fatal Push one of my Faeries to clear bridges. I'm going to hope that I hit the next land drop. I have a Ponder to do that. This just has enough enough counter spells that I'm pretty comfortable here, unless my opponent just hard discards to hand size. In which case, like, I might have to use this much earlier than I would otherwise like. Okay, cool. They did not discard to hand size. I think I negation that one. Like, as much as I want to daze, I don't want that coming back later. Cool. That's a big deal. So now I can ponder. Yeah, I'll take the Force of Will. And I will fetch, grab an Underground Sea, throw the Spell Bomb out there, and we'll give the Love Tap. This thing maybe draws 1 or 2 cards later. Next land drop, making days worse. I'm not going to let you get going, so I will just counter. Cool. There's Brainstorm. So, bam, bam. Play this turn. Next turn. Oh, okay. Nothing is actually happening there. That was just my opponent fetching. Anyway, next turn I have 3 mana to draw some cards with these, and they will be fresh cards. All right. Faithless Looting is live. I do have Spell Bomb. I will probably just have to clear their graveyard here. All right, and there is a Troll. I suppose I can draw my cards and then decide. I could also just cycle with Spell Bomb and not draw 2 cards now. And then that opens up some 2-mana plays like Sprite. Nah. I have 1 Surgical, though, so let's see if I draw it. Yeah. Remove counter. Draw 2. Did not hit the Surgical. Let's just exile your graveyard. And I can repeat it for another draw 2 next turn. Ooh, Otherworldly Gaze. You've got it. Ah, fuck. The Troll specifically means that Cephalid Coliseum will be live. I don't think I'm supposed to give my opponent the... Oh, that was a very bad dredge. Another Cephalid Coliseum, though. So my opponent can get the stuff back into the graveyard. But unless there's something like an LED, they're not making forward progress here. So, draw 3, discard 3. So there's a Poxwalkers in there. There's a Troll in there. Bitterbloom Bearer. I'm going to send in... I think I do the draw 3 again. I can still consign a trigger if I don't hit anything cool. This is 4 damage. Draw 2. Hit Wasteland. That's pretty good. Check out that Cephalid Coliseum. Alright, there's more. There's Narcomoeba. We'll see how bad this gets. There's a Poxwalkers in graveyard. There's Cabal Therapy. There's no bridges yet. My opponent gets 6 looks. No dredge. Alright, there's looting instead. Red return in graveyard. A bridge in graveyard. See how this goes. Hate that. So, Ashen Rider is on the table now. Another Narcomoeba. 2 bridges. Box of Agonas in graveyard as well. 3 cards remaining in deck. Is the Anger out? Don't see Anger. So maybe not Haste. But I don't think the Haste is necessary at a quick glance. I think as long as my opponent puts Ashen Rider into play, exiling one of my creatures, that they just kill me next turn on the swing. I definitely do not have Force of Will. Would have acted earlier in the turn. Red return, trigger, 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 trigger. Is this targeting the Ashen Rider? Alright. I think at the point where that's targeting the Ashen Rider, my opponent gets this. They exile one of my things, they cleanly have a blocker for the other. They're not going to just draw a card and die. We only put 2 wins on the board in this league, but I think we learned some very valuable things about cards from Lorwyn, and I consider this a success despite the scoreboard. GG's. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. I don't know that you should be building around this card in Legacy. However, I was very impressed by this card. And it may just be that you ignore most of this stuff and you just play a deck with a bunch of evasive creatures, and this is another pseudo Tamiyo thing that you can be doing in Legacy, a 1-drop that represents a very large amount of value later, except instead of clues over time, this is one big burst. The variance might be higher here, like this dies to Bowmasters and most other removal spells, but once you put this ability, this 2 and a blue ability on the stack, like you can't remove the creature afterwards to decide that. Like that is just going to happen, as we saw in that abrupt decay moment, and that's kind of cool. I am intrigued by this in decks that can create a lot of bodies. So totally spitballing here. What if you play a blue-white energy deck and you just have all of those things like Ajani and Voice of Victory, and then like you play this out, it's just something that triggers Guide of Souls, and then in the mid game you just get to go, all right, I'm attacking with 5 tokens, 2 of them get blocked and die, then activate this, draw 3 cards. This might be a real Legacy card. Certainly a real card in other formats. I would like to test this card more. That is my takeaway from this league. I don't know that any of the other Faeries were all that good. Like, this definitely made some good bodies. It was good support for Sprite. It was good support for Flitterwing Nuisance. But I think Flitterwing Nuisance stole the show here, not Bitterbloom Bearer. If I was going to play Bitterbloom Bearer again, I think I would just play it as a 1 of or a 2 of in a deck that is not built around Faeries and just wants something that produces some extra bodies and wants another flash creature. But this was a lot of fun. And if you have any thoughts about ways that we can play this, get brewing, send me some deck lists. Donation queue is always open. Would like to explore this again soon. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. We're expecting a major storm, so I'm going to try to work a little more this afternoon. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya.